My book is Audacious Joy. I wanted to create this feeling of something bold, like a willingness to choose to experience joy even when circumstances would indicate otherwise. Not an obligation to feel joy, but just knowing that you can choose in all different circumstances. So it's this boldness. And that was where the idea of audacious, it's brave, it's courageous. It's like, I'm going to choose joy even when the world says, maybe I shouldn't. And I'm going to choose it anyway.
That is bold. And one of my key tenets of happiness is that we can feel the full range of emotions. And that means the sadness, the grief, all those like kind of lower vibration, if we want to say that, and the joy. And also like our willingness to feel those harder emotions is correlated to how available we are for joy. How does that land with you?
Yeah, 100%. My philosophy is not intended to live just exclusively on one frequency. We're human. We're not intended to just live only in one high place. And I actually believe, if you really think about it, if you only lived in a state of joy exclusively, that would become so familiar. You eventually would almost not realize that you're there because you would have nothing to contrast or compare it to.
True.
So I really believe that there is opportunity to allow yourself to feel the whole range of emotions. I often will just say, like, it's not good or bad. It's just, is it working for you? Like if it doesn't necessarily work for people to stay in a low emotional state for an extended period of time, instead of whether you're judging it as good or bad. It's just like, does it work for you to stay in anger consistently? Probably not. But it's okay to tap down there because that might show you, oh, I'm angry about something. I wonder where that's coming from. Like you can learn from that too.
It's interesting because no, it's not working for us. If we're really honest with ourselves, like being angry or resentful or sad, it's not working for us. So somebody who is in a challenge right now, what would you say to that person about their willingness to feel joy or unwillingness?
Two people can be in the same circumstantial challenge and experience it totally differently. So it's not just the circumstance, it's your perception of the circumstance. If there is someone who's having a circumstance that the world might deem as bad and they don't know how to get out of it, and they're feeling all the low emotions, or they're feeling the victim or anger or frustration, if they're really in that state, I actually don't jump them to, let's just be joyful, because it's too far. It's too far. I actually would move them to neutral. It's like, can we come to acceptance or come to a point where we can just get out of the negative? And Dr. Price Pritchett, he's the author of another book called U Squared. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. It's so good. So he's a PhD in psychology, and he actually says the statistics show it's more valuable to stop negative thoughts than it is to create positive thoughts. You get more bang for your buck to stop the momentum of negative spiral than you do to increase the positive. So they're both important and they're both valuable. And I'm teaching about joy. And in that specific case, if someone's really stuck in the low, it's like, let's just slow down the negative, not jump all the way to joy. When they're ready, then we can move there.
Summer is here. For us, it's been magical. I love the slower mornings, the fun plans, the pool days, the road trips, but it's also completely unhinged. Between the 30-second snack break of the day, or the are we there yet on the road trip, or the 47 daily requests to turn the TV back on, sometimes it can feel like we're stretched thin. The Yodo Player is a screen-free audio player for kids. It's got no camera, no microphone, no ads, no algorithms, and it has genuinely saved us on long drives, in hotel rooms at 6 a.m., and those sacred afternoon quiet times where everyone just needs to decompress. Your kid can pop in their own story card, listen to music, or explore the podcasts, and they're off, independent and happily. And most importantly for us, without our phones. One of the things I love about the Yodo Player is that you can actually make your own cards. You can make up stories, read them out loud, do affirmations, and your kids can actually help you. I love thinking about the possibilities. So whether you just need some great screen-free options this summer, or you're traveling a lot like we are, the Yodo is a lifesaver. Check out the links in the show notes to get your kiddos a Yodo today. We can feel like contentment or neutrality or, I'm just okay today, right? And then we climb our way slowly to audacious joy, yeah?
Yeah. And it's so individual for each person and each circumstances. So, but yes. Mhm.
Yeah, that's so true. So I love that you are framing joy as a choice. I wholeheartedly agree with you, but there was a time when I didn't. And I was stuck in this kind of like, oh, look at this hand that life dealt me, and boo hoo, all this stuff keeps coming up and the same patterns. And well, I'm such a victim. I wasn't saying that all consciously, but unconsciously I was. Then I found positive psychology. I realized that our thoughts create our feelings, create our actions. And then, like, there's this loop. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I actually felt it play out in my life. So I saw, oh, when I change my thought or stop the negative thought, I do have a better experience of this current moment I'm in, whether that's a really challenging moment or a neutral moment or a, mountaintop moment. It's just, it was better when I stopped that little monkey mind. It's still a practice I'm working on today.
Mhm.
So, what do you do today, even as like the audacious joy lady? Like, how do you still catch yourself in those thoughts that you have to push aside or ignore? What do you do when those come up still?
Yep. And I appreciate what you said. Like we don't arrive. There's no cap to your personal development, your growth, your ability to have more self-awareness. So that's part of the joy. The part of the fun of it is knowing that there's always more. Like you can always learn more about yourself. You can always grow more. You can always tap into more of those higher feelings. For me, there are a few things. One thing that I specifically do and recommend often is first thing in the morning to do either a gratitude, like 3 gratitude, like a 5 minutes. It doesn't have to not you don't have to pick an hour of time. But first thing in the morning, maybe even before you get out of bed, especially if you have young children, maybe before if you can do it or before the kids are running around on top of you, to spend 5 minutes in gratitude, thinking about things that you feel thankful for, that you have thoughts about, and then feel like tap into emotion. Start your day with a more lighter feeling. Because if you start your day with, oh my gosh, I have so much to do today. Like I'm never going to get through everything. There's just not enough time. I don't have enough help. Like whatever. If you start into a spiral of negative thoughts and feelings, that's going to have a big impact on how your whole day goes. So if you can start, and this is what I do I'm very diligent, 5 to 10 minutes. I often will do a guided meditation or some silence or gratitude, but something that kind of is simple and easy in those first 5, 10 minutes of the day to set I will call it my state. So I'm like, okay, I'm set. I'm in a good place. Today's going to be a good day. I love my life. I'm here for the assignment. That's a new quote that I recently heard.
I like
And
it.
just say that and start the day that way. And that tends to change how the experience of the entire day.
Love it. So I'm hearing you say getting into this energy of gratitude. I feel like I'm hearing some people ask this. How do I know when I'm feeling gratitude?
It's interesting. It's what you also said, Ryan, a few minutes ago. You mentioned the positive psychology cycle of thinking leads to your feelings. Feelings moves into, you might call it the energy of your actions, like not just your actions, but the way you act, the way you feel about your actions, right? Action. Your thoughts lead to your feelings lead to action, or the energy within your action, which is what delivers your results. And the same thing goes for gratitude. With the company that I'm partnered with as well, we talk about these 3 levels of gratitude where you have a thought where you're thinking thankfulness. And that might be where I'm just like, I'm thankful for my son. I'm thankful for this clean glass of water. I'm thankful for the ability to read. So you're thinking thankfulness, which is different than emotion. It takes a second step to get to the second level of gratitude, which is what you asked about, feeling gratitude, like feeling grateful, getting into the emotion of gratitude. There's some different ways to do that. It can be just pausing for a second longer to try to tap into, well, what am I thankful about? Why am I thankful for my son? And like try to picture a moment or like get into the feeling of what that feels like. One of the other really powerful ways to feel the emotion of gratitude is actually to express it. So when my son comes down in the morning, can I say, I'm so proud to be your mom. I just love being your mom. Like, oh my gosh,
Hmm.
now all of a sudden my emotional state of gratitude, love, joy, bliss, all this happiness is filled up, and so is his. And then the third level is moving into the action of generosity, really, in some way. time, money, energy, like words, some way moving that thought of thankfulness, feeling of appreciation, and moving that into the energy of generosity.
What do we do when we start off our day with gratitude, whether it's the thoughts or the emotion of it, and then we walk out the door and 5 minutes later, we find ourselves back in this same hard or challenging or kind of grumpy emotional state because perhaps of something external. So a car cuts us off, or we spill our coffee, or, we get an email that has bad news in it. How do we take that ball and bounce it back up?
Such a powerful question. And if it was easy, the magic answer would be available and everyone would be doing it. It is a process of consistency and awareness in my experience and like in my research of the past decade. It is an intention, and it slowly gets easier when you believe it will get easier. It only gets better if you believe that you will be able to get better at this. And I do have a couple of word tools that I use. I'm happy to share to shift that state when you're midday. And I just wanted to preface with we're human and it's normal and it's going to happen. Your morning gratitude is not going to cure your whole day of any challenge. But it will help. And if you do that consistently for a year of shifting your state in the morning little by little over time, and maybe some other tools if you're listening to audios or going through experiences or reading or coaching, like if you're doing other things, especially to cultivate that shift, in 6 months you will notice, oh wow, I responded differently than I used to respond.
It's amazing what a year does, like looking back on an entire year. I did a meditation now at 400 plus days, and I'm like, oh my gosh. First of all, I made a promise to myself and I kept it. That's huge. And then, second of all, I did notice like throughout my day, it was easier to come back to center because, in a way, I feel like I was training my brain to be able to tap into the quiet, even when there are things to do and, everything has to get going in the day. So it was like training the brain. Is that how you see this? Kind of like a physiological process?
Yep. Neural pathways. You're creating new neural pathways. So it is absolutely rewiring. If your brain pattern was programmed from childhood, particularly age 0 to 8 is where most of your beliefs and thoughts and perspectives come from. And onward, but that's a big chunk of it. If your brain pattern is programmed to the not enoughness side, is not enough time, is not enough money, this, oh my gosh, bad things happen to me, this is a bad word. I'm giving examples. Each individual is unique in what their programming is. But if there are programmed roadways to that way of thinking, and that's your automatic default, you can train your brain to create new neural pathways, which will kind of grow some weeds over the old one and slowly pave a new way that becomes the new automatic default pattern, which is likely what's happened in you, right? In your own experience of that repetition over time, starting to automatically reprogram it to the new pattern.
Sure, it's easier to reach for in a jam. It becomes easier over time. I 1000% agree with that. So tell us about these magic, that's my word, not yours, these magic words that we can use throughout the day, and why also words are so powerful.
So good. I'll answer your second question first. The words that you use are a reflection of your current perspective and your current beliefs. And they're not only a reflection of your current perspective and your current beliefs, they're also influencing everyone around you, including your children, your spouse, your neighbors, your business partners. Your words are a reflection of your current beliefs and perception, and they are influencing. It's impossible not to be influenced by other people, and it's impossible for you not to influence other people. Even if you think you're not influencing your kids, you are, just maybe not the way that you want to all the time, right? We are influenced by each other. And so words are so important. It's not just the word, it's the energy and the feeling in those words. And because words are a reflection of belief, the feeling kind of comes with it. So if the words are, we don't have enough time for that, we can't do that, we can't afford that, I don't have, like, if you're using words that are lower in an emotional state, it's not only impacting how you feel, it's impacting how others feel. So that's just one piece of words. Words are a reflection of your current beliefs and perception. They're influencing others. And by choosing different words, you can help to shift your own perspectives and beliefs as well as shift how you're influencing others. So the magic thing that I haven't used it, haven't called it magic before. However, I do think it's magical, is a tool I call Progressive Affirmations. So it's a concept that I helped kind of cultivate over the past 5, 6 years, where I realized that when individuals were trying to use affirmations to change their thoughts, they often didn't believe it, and then therefore it didn't work. So if someone's thinking, I don't have enough time, I can't afford this, I don't have enough money, I'm not good enough, and you're trying to get them to switch their words to, I am always enough, I am amazing, there's always enough time, there's always enough money, some people can just jump right there. And if they can, it's amazing. So I would never deter someone from attempting to go all the way into those higher full belief words. In many cases, your subconscious doesn't believe that. And therefore, it's very difficult to reprogram yourself. So instead of jumping from I can't to I can and I'm amazing, these progressive affirmations are a way to use words as a transition. So one of the best ones is to start by saying, up until now. Up until now, I would react in this circumstance. Up until now, I just thought I wasn't a morning person. Up until now, bad things used to seem to show up in my life. Up until now. So it allows you to acknowledge, this is how I used to see things up until now. So you're not ignoring it or brushing it under the rug. Up until now, and then and the second half of that is I am choosing. I am choosing to remain more calm. I'm choosing to believe that it's possible to feel more calm in this circumstance. I'm choosing to believe that it's possible to feel like I have enough time. I'm choosing to believe that there is more time than I currently can see, right? Up until now, and I am choosing can change someone's life, especially parents. If they can say, I am choosing to feed the kids dinner tonight. I am choosing to do that. It's a choice. I could just let them not eat, but I'm choosing to do it, and I'm choosing to do it. Whenever we can use the words I'm choosing, even though sometimes it's funny, it literally will shift their experience. So that's an example of a progressive affirmation where you're progressing your perspective rather than just flipping the switch.
Okay, so up until now, when my kid asked me for a snack for the 17th time during spring break, I would have really kind of flipped out and said, I just already cooked 1.5 meals for you. And now I am choosing to tell them that the kitchen is closed and I will come back and cook again in an hour, right?
Mhm. And if that circumstance caused a emotion of frustration or resentment or some, to also even acknowledge, like, and I am choosing to remain calm while I share this message. I am choosing to put myself first. Sometimes I'm choosing to remember that when I am my best, everyone else around me benefits. Like, so there may be aspects of the emotion and identity along with the action that comes.
When somebody is trying to figure out what beliefs are coming up for them, how do we know when we're up against a belief that's old and outdated that we don't want anymore?
Well, there's a few different ways. One is your words. If you hear yourself saying any words that are lack, not enough, can't, shouldn't, should, right? Such a harsh emotional word.
Yeah.
Should. Like if you
Should.
notice anything that comes after
Yeah.
I should do this, then it's like you get to look at that and decide, I should do the laundry and also start my business plan. So check your words. And even if it's
Yeah.
a silent word in your head, check what follows. I can't because I should, I have to, right? And then you get to look at it. The thing that follows that isn't necessarily a limiting belief. It's just that you have to look at it consciously to decide. If it's unconscious, then some of them are for sure limiting beliefs, and some of them maybe you're like, you know what, I do really want to do that, but I'm going to say I choose to do that instead of I should. And secondly, how you feel, and those words will affect how you feel. If you feel resentment, frustration, negative fear, like if you feel low emotions, then it's important to look at that. What's leading me to that belief? The term that I've used is called social idealisms, and it's a perspective, but they're typically beliefs that were passed down Like, I should do the laundry every day is a social idealism.
Or like
It's
a
been
good
passed down.
mom acts like this,
Yeah,
right? Is it that kind of a
100%.
thing?
A good mom, if
Okay.
I was a good mom or a good wife or, like, I would do this and all the time, and I would always have this, I should want a lovely home. Like, maybe you do, maybe you wanna have a smaller home and travel, but so it's just noticing, like, where do I feel these shoulds or have to or ought to? And then that's one place to really look, for moms to see that is that social idealism that was passed down to me. Do I want to keep that? Because what if I'm like, you know what? I do really like to have my laundry done every day, not just because I should. I want to. I enjoy that moment. It's quiet. I get to fold. I feel confident. I like the feeling of like, if that's a positive experience for you, then you can choose to keep that. You don't, that's why it's not guaranteed to be positive or negative. It's just, we're so programmed. Literally 93 to 97% of our thoughts and beliefs are programmed or subconscious. So if you don't look at it, you won't know whether it's a choice or just an unconscious belief that was passed down. It's like really empowering to look at your beliefs and then decide whether you're going to choose to keep this one, modify it, or let it go.
So empowering. And I think, too, to bring it full circle, that's where this question, is this working for me, comes in
Hmm.
when we can have that awareness. So I'm hearing you say step one is noticing or becoming aware. What am I saying? How am I feeling when I say it? What's going on here? And just taking maybe like a half a second pause to really notice what's coming out of our mouth, what we're feeling in our hearts. And then, is this working for me? Right? I make sourdough bread every week for my family, and it's like not the biggest pain in the whatever, but sometimes, like, it's hard to fit in. And it's like, okay, why am I stressing myself out? This is something that I want to do, that I want to provide for my family. Once you've had homemade sourdough bread, like, you can't buy bread anymore. And so I'm like, now I guess I'm in this thing, right? So that's one of the things for me. Is this working for me? Yes, this is working for me because the benefit is outweighing the cost. Is that a good way of looking at things for us? What's like the cost benefit analysis?
As long as you're also noticing how you feel in that process.
Okay.
Like, kind of don't use your logic to outweigh your intuition, like,
Okay.
or your feelings. If your logic is like, "Yes, it does outweigh it," but my heart is like, "Ugh, it does. I don't think I'm feeling it." Trust your heart more.
Okay. So
Like,
this is a head and a heart
yeah,
game.
and they're both like, they both have value. It just when you really at the end of the day, if you practice tapping into your heart, you'll know even without looking at the logic. If listeners are hearing this, they might be thinking, "I'll do a pros and cons list," and pros and cons lists can be great. Your subconscious is usually just trying to prove to you whatever your heart is telling you anyways, and sometimes you need the list so that you can let your heart have peace in trusting whatever you were thinking in the first place, but you don't always need to have that step.
That is a very helpful clarification, because I feel like a lot of us here, I'm raising my hand, were trained, indoctrinated, raised to be smart, be analytical, be good in school. And so when we are trained that way, it really becomes second nature for us to, be the smart one and look at things on paper and be logical and rational and, everything like that. And so I
Mhm.
think that's a really important distinction. I always like picturing an infinity loop to from my third eye to my heart, and how they're connected, and remembering
Mm,
that. And you know what's in the middle of that? Our throat, which
mm.
is the words that we say. And so I love how we're kind of bringing this full circle, and it's really based in science, is it not?
Yeah, there's a lot of actual research around words, around your thoughts, around your feelings, around the energy that's coming off your body and how you're influencing others. Yeah. So it's really
Amazing.
powerful.
Your book, Audacious Joy, is so beautiful. I cannot wait to get it on my bookshelf. I am a huge book nerd, and your book is on the list now. So, everybody out there, get Nicole's book on your list too. I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to have it in my hands.
We talked about a lot of things today, and it's leaving this conversation with one nugget. Is there one thing that really stood out that someone can go implement right now? rather than trying to do it all. Pick one thing and say, is there one tip that I heard that really resonated? And hopefully that'll make a big difference.
I love that. And the tip that I'm taking are those two phrases, up until now and I am choosing. I love those phrases. So you guys heard the woman. This is the Audacious Joy woman. Take one of the things you heard today, bring it with you this week, this month, and just do an experiment on yourself and see how you feel after you incorporate some of these things in your life.